Good evening, sir and classmates. Today we are going to tackle about constructivism and social studies. So before we start the lesson, let us know first what is constructivism. From the word construct, it is something constructed by the mind. That's why constructivism is the theory that says learners construct knowledge rather than just passively take in information. As people experience the world reflect upon those experiences, they build their own representations and incorporate new information into their pre-existing knowledge. And in school, teachers use it as a learner center. Because the 21st century classroom is filled with a vibrant assortment of learners. These dynamics create a challenges for teachers. It is because students came from different types of socioeconomic backgrounds with culturally experience and learning style. So this kind of teaching, teachers always be adjusted to the level of the pupils. So constructivist way of teaching be promoted in the classroom, and it's called learners centered. There is another meaning of constructivism. Constructivism is rather heterogeneous idea. We invent our own concept and ideas linked to what we already know. This meaning, making theory of learning, is called constructivism. Knowledge is constructed by learners through an active mental process of development. Learners are the builders and reactors of meaning and knowledge. Another definition of constructivism, according to Brother Arahe and Jones 2002, constructivism can be defined as the idea that development of understanding requires the learner to actively engage in meaning or making. Next is, there are three varieties of constructivism. First is educational constructivism. So, educational constructivism is based on the idea that people actively construct or make their own knowledge. Next is philosophical constructivism. Philosophical constructivism is integrating with what they already know. Then the last one is sociological constructivism. Pag sinabi naman nating sociological constructivism, it is a sociological theory of knowledge according to which human development is socially situated and knowledge is constructed through interaction with others. Constructivism in teaching. Constructivism in teaching is based on the belief that learning occurs as learners are actively involved in a process of meaning and knowledge construction. Learners are the makers of meaning and knowledge. Constructivism teaching fosters critical thinking and creates motivated and independent learners. Let's proceed to Piaget 1977 explained that we accommodate the new information to our old way of thinking by restructuring and present knowledge to a higher level of thinking. Jane Piaget studied the theory of cognitive development. His theory provided many central concepts in the field of development psychology and concerned the growth of intelligence. Constructivist teaching depends upon the learner's level of cognitive. First is sensory motor stage or age 0 to 2 years old. Infants are born with a set of congenital reflexes. Their initial schemas are formed through differentiation of the congenital reflexes. Next is pre-operational stage, age 2 to 7 years old. The pre-operational stage is the second of the first stage of cognitive development. By observing sequences of play, Piaget was able to demonstrate that towards the end of the second year, a qualitatively new kind of psychological functioning occurs. Next, concrete operational stage or age 7 to 11 years old. So the concrete operational stage is the third of four stages of cognitive development in Piaget theory. This stage, which follows the pre-operational, occurs between the age of 7 and 11 years and is characterized by the appropriate use of logic. Then the last one is formal operational stage or age 12 to 15 years old. The formal operational period is the fourth and final of the periods of cognitive development in Piaget theory. This stage, which follows the concrete operational stage, commences at around 11 years of age or puberty and continues into adulthood. It is characterized by acquisition of the ability to think abstractly, reason logically, and draw conclusions from the information available. During this stage, the young adult is able to understand such things as love or shades of gray, logical proofs, and values. Activities and constructivist classroom. Experiment, research project, field trips, films, and class discussion. I think we are all familiar to this activity that I mentioned because we are all experience it in our classroom during the time of the face-to-face classes. Role of teachers. The teacher's main focus should be on guiding students by asking questions. It will lead them to develop their own conclusions on the subject. So, in the constructivist classroom, the teacher role is to prompt and facilitate discussion. So, ang magko-continue is si Mary Rose Liasos.